Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. We are 16 days away from Christmas. It is about 43 degrees outside. It's one of those weather patterns right now where eventually it's going to burn off, but basically, it's because winter's coming and Sierra and all that's getting a lot of snow, so it's causing some effects. But with that said, before I get started on this great news, you see what the title of the video is, so I'm pretty sure you're aware of this. But before I get started, I'd like to ask you to do me a solid favor, and that's like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Also, guys, if you would like to, you can click on the link in the description to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. You can find me at all your favorite audio and video podcast platforms like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and to an extent, SiriusXM. Also, guys, you can find me on other video outlets like Dailymotion, VENMO, Rumble, and Odyssey. I do have a Patreon, and that's going to be something that I'll be looking at mostly towards maybe the weekend, and if not during the holiday holiday vacation time frame. But it is up and going. I put something up over the past weekend. Thank you all for checking it out if you did. But yes, I do have a Patreon. Also, guys, I have a Venmo and a Cash App if you would like to help donate there. Yes, I do have a Venmo and a Cash App. Also, ladies and gentlemen, you can support me through my two stores. The Fourth Wall store, link is at the top, and Teespring store, link is at the bottom. Get yourself some items for Christmas, some gifts for your friends and family for Christmas, and it helps me out tremendously. Also, guys, I have affiliated stores that will be listed here during the video, so you guys can check those affiliated stores out. It helps the stores out, it helps you out during the Christmas season for gifts for yourself, for family, friends, you name it, decorations, you name it, and it helps me out through commissions. Also, guys, you can follow me on social media at TikTok, at Blue Sky, and Twitter, aka X.com. Guys, you can also, ladies and gentlemen, find me over at DeviantArt, deviantart.com, at BVW1979, and you can find me over at inkbunny.net, at BWRosas, and for Affiliate Day, at BW1979. And also, guys, during this live video premiere, you can chime in your thoughts on this great news, if you will, in the live chat if you would like, as well as if you feel like doing so, you can donate with SuperChats in the live chat. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, guys, if you would like, if you don't get here in time and you still want to donate afterwards, you can do so after the video premiere is over in the Super Thanks, which is the little heart with the $sign. Also, guys, comments will be open. The comment section will be open on both the live premiere and afterwards. But with that said, let's get on to the topic of this exciting news, shall we? Okay, guys, like I said, you read the title, and yes, it is true. As of today, Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, it finally happened. It finally happened. MeTVToons is on Xfinity. It is on Comcast. It is on channel 1736. Some have said they also get it on channel 376, where they are. They basically get it on two channels, apparently. But yes, it is here. Channel 1736, and like I said, in some areas, not just that channel, but also 376 also get MeTVToons, but it's mostly, a majority of the place, mostly is saying 1736. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how did this happen? When did you find out? Well, this morning, after being woken up a couple hours early due to the fact that, well, my OG ride at the time for going to work, at the warehouse that I was at seasonally, they woke me up and they told me that for the second day in a row, because I noticed this yesterday too, we had some eggs basically dropped in our driveway, dropped on our cars, and it wasn't because some young kids decided to, be cool, be trolls and all that. No. The way these were dropped was by birds, mostly nocturnal birds, like crows, or in some cases, maybe owls. Because we do have a neighbor that has somewhat like a old school as my oldest nephew put it, like haunted house, rickety barn, or whatever next door. So one could assume an owl goes in there and grabs some eggs, or maybe even gets the eggs from the chickens that they have there. But yeah, I've been up for a couple of hours, and of course I got myself some coffee, wake myself up even more. Checked out my MetaQuest, which apparently was acting up a little bit, but obviously it was due to the fact that they were finishing an update, which they apparently did yesterday, but they were still putting the final touches on it today. You know how it is. It's like you hit the browser and everything, the default browser for the internet, and you get two of them, and you're like, what's going on here? And it kind of gets stagnant, and you're moving around, and the screen's moving with you. It's like, what's going on? And then you have to reset, reboot, and then it's all clear. So, again, obviously they did an update or something like that, because it gave me the Meta OS intro after I did that, and that usually means they will probably do an update, or at least finishing said update, if you will. But with that said, once I finally got things up and running, if you will, I checked out Facebook, and I saw one of the first things that was put onto my homepage, because when you're on Facebook, you get all this news outlets, or all this information, or these posts by groups you're a part of, or you're following, news outlets, or even your friends and family, right? Well, MeTVToons fan group on Facebook is one of the groups I'm following that I'm a part of, that I can also post on, I'm a member of. And basically, let me get this name right. Let me make sure I get this name right. It is the username is Resilient Giraffe 6151. Resilient Giraffe 6151. 2 hours ago, about 2 hours ago, maybe a lot later now when you listen to this, but 2 hours ago, right now the time is 9:05, so around 7 o'clock, if you will, 7 o'clock Pacific. For me, it says, Xfinity customers, check out channel 1736. What do you see? And, lo and behold, everybody was commenting this, and they were saying, one person, this Joe Gallen, I'm sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong, says, ask first, do my eyes deceive me? MeTVToons is finally available. Or basically they ask it in two questions. They ask, do my eyes deceive me? MeTVToons is finally available? That was the way they that's the way they put it and everything. But yeah, basically MeTVToons is on 1736. Now me, of course, I had to double check, because I do have Comcast, I do have Xfinity and everything. I do have that. And I had to double check myself. I had to double check, just out of curiosity, because, over the past year or so, since its inception, past year and a half, if you will, MeTVToons has been slowly rolling out. First through over the air, then it's been going to, some cable outlets, some, Xfinity cable outlets, on the Midwest and the East Coast and somewhat the Northwest and all that. They've been rolling it out very slowly, mostly, like I said, through OTAs, over the air and everything, over the air. Basically, like I said, other cable outlets, Spectrum, some Xfinity outlets, TDR, as they call it. I think one of them is called TDR or something like that, and so on and so forth. And over time, we knew eventually we were going to get it. We just didn't know when. But I said, when it first came out, I said, give it time. I said, basically, if I remember correctly, give it time. It's going to get here. They just need to roll it out. They need to see, how much of a demand people are going to want for this. They're going to want to see it. They're going to want to see who else, obtains, the service or the licensing to distribute MeTVToons on their channels or on their services. So over time, I said basically it was going to show up, right? I said it was going to show up. It just takes time, because they were still rolling it out, and they wanted to see who else was going to pick it up. Well, basically earlier this year, when word got out that DirecTV, a competitor to cable outlets like Xfinity, mostly Xfinity, when word got out that they were acquiring MeTVToons as a part of their, or not acquiring, but licensing MeTVToons to be part of their packages, both both channel-wise and streaming. The streaming basically goes by the Eastern time zone. The regular channels go by your time zone. But basically, when word got out that they were bringing that on board for both the regular DirecTV dish, customers and the streaming customers, oh, you knew. You knew the moment that DirecTV made that announcement, in conjunction with MeTVToons and regular broadcasting, you knew almost instantly that Comcast Xfinity was not that far behind. And a lot of us, I think even myself, I'm not sure, I got to go back and listen, but I think even myself said that sometime this year we were going to get it. In fact, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe I said we were going to get it this year, last year. Because again, like I said, they were slowly rolling it out. And usually it takes about a year, a little over that, before it shows up. Well, again, when you have a competitor, a major competitor, like DirecTV, through the regular, the regular non-streaming, what's the word I'm looking for? Streaming packages, basically the regular channels and everything that you need to dish for. The moment you heard that they were coming on board and doing this, oh, you knew, like I said, Xfinity and Comcast wouldn't be that far behind. And then guess what happens? Guess what happens? Shortly following that, not even a few months later, DirecTV's other competitor, who I think they bought, or at least partnered with or something, I'm not really sure, Dish Network. Dish Network follows the same suit. They end up doing the same thing. They end up getting MeTVToons, not just for, the streaming package, the streaming division, but also they end up getting MeTVToons for the regular, cable-like, dish, dish channels, if you will. They end up doing that. Basically, they repeated, the same thing DirecTV did, and they said, okay, we're going to bring in MeTVToons, not just as part of our regular, television packages, but our streaming package as well. And again, the streaming package goes with the Eastern, time zone. It goes with the Eastern time zone and all that. Well, lo and behold, again, the moment you heard Dish Network was coming on board, after DirecTV, you knew outlets like, Xfinity, Comcast were not that far behind. Outlets like AT&T were not that far behind. Outlets like Verizon, Philo is not that far behind. And, well, today, Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, you see the images on this video. Today, Xfinity is now, has now joined, I can't even think about what I'm going to say. I'm so excited about this. But as of today, MeTVToons has joined, the Xfinity family. Xfinity has joined the lineup of networks, of over-the-air, channels, of linear cable, networks and companies. Today, they have all come together finally, and there is more to come in the future. Because I guarantee you, if you are a subscriber of, let's say, Sling, if you're a subscriber of Roku, you're a subscriber of any of the free, FuboTV, if you will, I guarantee you, those will be next on the list. YouTube TV will be next on the list. As far as linear cable goes, like I said, Verizon, Philo, AT&T, Cablevision, the various Cablevisions out there, they will all be joining in on the party. That's right, they'll be all joining in on the party before you know it. But man, What an early Christmas gift this is. What an early Christmas gift this is. I mean, it would have been great had we gotten it maybe in time for the "'Tis the Season to be or "'Tis the Season for Tunes," broadcast they've been doing on the weekends. It would have been nice to get it then. But hey, better late than never. Hey, if you want to watch the stingiest man in town, you want to DVR that, guess what? You can do so through MeTVToons on Xfinity this Sunday. You don't have to worry about FrdnleyTV. If you want to keep FrdnleyTV, that's fine. I might be thinking of keeping it myself because here's the thing. My DVR is limited. I don't have the unlimited DVR, option just yet. I have to upgrade to that. And when I do upgrade to that, then I'll probably get rid of FrdnleyTV, but for the time being I won't, because the DVRing will not, the person I share, the cable watching with, the cable viewing with, that person, I guarantee you, will not be fond if I decide to go series record Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They will not be fond if I do that, because it'll be like, oh God, you're taking up all the space, I mean, I don't think they'd mind, but, they like to record their programming and stuff as well, so they don't want to have to deal with that. You get what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I or anybody else would keep outlets like Friendly or Philo. That way we don't have to bombard the DVRs of our Xfinity or our AT&Ts or Verizon Physios or whatever, or cable outlets, whatever. We don't have to bombard it over and over and over and over, with, basically, with various recordings. We don't have to bombard it. But outside of that, though, when the time comes, and I feel like, yeah, I can get rid of it for the time being, I'll do so. But right now, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it and everything. I am basically of the belief that God has a purpose, has a time and a purpose for everything. And obviously, He had a time and a purpose for this coming out, weeks before Christmas. And again, what an early Christmas gift this is. And if you don't think this is legit, one of the the MeTVToons News and Updates Twitter page, aka X page, also announced it that it is on channel 1736 on Xfinity on Comcast. Now, what's interesting is some people have reported that they see it, but they're not getting it because they need a subscription. And that's the only thing about, channels like the thousands, if you will. You go from the thousands and downward. That's the only thing. Sometimes you need to have a subscription. I have people in my family always asking, why do you have these channels? You don't watch them. Well, guess what? Some of these channels have stuff that we can watch. We can enjoy. It just takes time before they're entered in there. Or basically, it takes time before we see what else is there. And sometimes these channels are resolution-wise upgrades from what we see them on normally. So basically, if anybody asks you, well, why do you always have all these channels on your Xfinity, Comcast deal, or whatever, just let them know. The reason I have it is because it gives me a lot more variety. It's one of the only luxuries we have of entertainment, because we don't do this or that. And also the fact that it might have programming on there that we may not be aware of, or that might be coming very soon, that we can enjoy. And guess what? That's exactly what's happened here. Now what's interesting, and hold on a second while I go check something. What's interesting, okay, so I had to make sure. Now, as far as what it's listed as with the 1736, it's actually, and I'm sure a lot of you know about this, it's listed in between all the, I guess you could say, kid-related, family-related channels, from like the Nickelodeon channels to the kids channel, stuff like that. It's located there right before you go to TCM, Turtle Classic Movies, and afterwards, FXX and all that. So it's basically listed, believe it or not, in between the, like I said, the kid/family channels, with, Nickelodeon and so on and so forth. and then right before the Turtle Classic Movies and stuff. That's where it's listed. And if you want more confirmation, go to MeTVToons' own website. Go to MeTVToons' own website. Go there and basically type in your zip code. In fact, I don't even think you have to type in your local zip code, but I would do it just in case. Just out of curiosity. Because MeTVToons, they have to update all the cities, right? With where MeTVToons has been added on to. Well, go there, go to MeTVToons website, click on where to watch, type in your zip code, maybe even a zip code that you used to be part of, and one of the first two listings should be Comcast Xfinity channel 1736. So yeah, even MeTVToons has it listed. And what's crazy is they did not have this listed, the last time I looked up where to watch it, just a few days ago. And so this is like I said, this is an early Christmas present that is long overdue. But like I told you before, this took time. It took time. And basically, I think we kind of all knew it was coming, like I said earlier, due to the fact that it was slowly rolling out to all the over-the-air networks and everything, the ones you need antennas for, that as they were slowly rolling out, we kept seeing, other cable outlets, other cable, companies, providers, basically, being announced, as, providers, as, outlets you could go and watch MeTVToons on. So we knew eventually, again, Comcast was probably going to get it. We knew that. We knew that for a fact. We knew that for a fact. Because, excuse me, because of the fact that essentially, we kept seeing over these rollouts some Comcast providers being listed. Not just Spectrum, in other outlets as well, the TDRs and all that, but we kept seeing Comcast showing up. Not everywhere, but we kept seeing it. Like I said, we kept seeing it mostly in the East Coast, or the Midwest, or certain areas, certain regions. And, so by seeing that, we knew it was coming, we just didn't know when. Well, like I said, the moment news came out earlier this year that DirecTV, through its linear satellite package, or dish package, and its streaming package, the moment word got out that on both its outlets, streaming and non-streaming, if you will, that it was going to bring in MeTVToons, we knew right, excuse me, we knew right then and there, Comcast wasn't that far behind. And if that wasn't enough to, make us be convinced that was going to be the case, then, like I said earlier, Dish Network comes around, they get their name announced as being the next, major outlet to bring MeTVToons aboard. And we all knew that, well, if DirecTV's got it, if MeTVToons has got it, we have Spectrum before Comcast saying they've got it, you got these other cable outlets saying they got it. We knew that after DirecTV, and mostly now after Dish, once those were announced, we knew it wasn't that far behind. And lo and behold, today, like I said earlier, December 9th, it is here. It is here. Now, again, I know people feel like, well, wait a minute, we have to have a subscription, or, to a certain cable a certain package on the cable to obtain this. Yeah, that is true. That is true. You have to have a certain, package. There's no doubt. That's why me and my family, we basically have the all-out packages. We do. We have the all-out packages of, yeah, some of the channels may not make sense in having, but the thing is, at the end of the day, even though some of the, like I said, channels are not, doesn't make sense in having, at the end of the day, what you get in return is worth it. What you get in return is worth it. So to me, this is worth it. This is worth keeping these channels. This is worth it. It really is. And sooner or later, yeah, they're going to probably add on a regular, channel, like, somebody, as I mentioned earlier, said that they're not just getting it on 1736, but they're also getting it on 376. Yeah, sooner or later, in most of the other outlets, they're going to be rolling it to 376 as well, or at least in that area. They will do that so that everybody gets it, even if they don't have a certain package. Point I'm getting at is this is a great moment for a lot of fans that have been waiting for this. A lot of fans that have been like, okay, when is it coming? Where can I find it? And again, if you have Philo and Friendly, if you want to get rid of them, that's fine. But my recommendation is hold off on that. Hold off on getting rid of Philo. Hold off on getting rid of Friendly. Okay, hold off on that just for now. And the reason I say that is because, again, if you want to DVR certain shows, but you don't want to cluster blank, your DVR recordings or your DVR setup, with your cable, if you will, then keep Friendly TV. Keep Friendly TV. Keep basically, PhiloTV. Keep them around for a bit. Till basically you can come to an agreement, with whoever you're sharing cable privileges with. Come to an agreement of saying, okay, I want to record this, but I don't want to, I don't want to fill up our DVR too much. I want to record this though. Get to an agreement, or make an agreement to go to the upgraded version of the cable and everything, and you should be good to go. You should be good to go. If you go and upgrade to the unlimited DVR recording, you're fine. Then that way you can decide, oh, okay, I'll get rid of Friendly right now. But it's only, ladies and gentlemen, only if you decide, to upgrade to, to the unlimited DVR. If not, again, my recommendation just to basically clear the path, if you will, make sure there's no issues. My recommendation is hold off on getting rid of Friendly TV and Philo. Keep those around so that way you have an alternative outlet to record your programs, even though they will go off the Eastern time zone and not the local one. So that's just me. That's just my opinion, guys. That's just my opinion on keep it, to kind of, make sure you don't have any trouble in the long run. And I'm sure you all understand that. But yeah, this is tremendous. This is tremendous. I mean, honestly, if I was still working, and I probably would still be working, I probably wouldn't have known about this until I got home. There's no doubt. Or I would have found out, on break, looking at my phone going like, huh? Are you kidding me, kind of deal? And I'd probably be like, praying to God above, let him give us BTO, let him give us VTO, I probably wouldn't do that, but still, I'd be thinking about that, being like, please let him give us VTO. That way, we can end up, that way I could come home early and watch, but hey, God has a reason for everything, has a reason for things happening, and here's the reason, for me being a fan of cartoons growing up, here's a reason. So it's great. It is great to see. And what this does for MeTVToons and regular broadcasting is not only does it get, the station out, to more households than before, because a lot of households, let's be honest, a lot of them do have the premium, packages of Xfinity, if not a lot of cable outlets, because they want to make sure they get everything just in case something gets, added on channel-wise or show-wise. We know that's the reason. But honestly, this is tremendous. This is a tremendous thing to see, and like I said, it's going to help, expand, expand on a broader range. It's going to expand on a broader range for MeTVToons. And what's going to happen is it's going to make a lot of people that may not be aware of MeTVToons' existence, because believe it or not, there are those that are unaware of it, It'll basically get them to, not only tune in and watch that network, and, learn more about it, but it's going to make them hope and wonder themselves, I wonder if they'll bring this show in. I wonder if they'll bring that show in. Maybe I should suggest this and that. It's going to make them want to basically, it's going to make them want to basically go and watch, go not only go and watch and learn more about, watch the channel and learn more about it, but it's gonna make them want to hope to see, shows that they grew up on showing up. That's what it's gonna do. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, this is a big deal, and I'm happy it's happened. And I can't wait to see what else they bring to the table, because again, this is going to open the door, for a lot more shows to be licensed. This is going to open the door for a lot more shows to get licensed. Because here's the thing. It's one thing. It's one situation. Okay, mind you, it's one situation to debut on over-the-air television and some cable outlets, regionally. It's one thing to do that. It's another that throughout your initial 1 year, your first year and a half rollout, it's one thing to not only get on those over-the-air networks all over the country, but also to, basically get on, other premium, cable outlets like Spectrum and a few others and all that, TDR and a few others, stuff like that. It's one thing to do that. And then on occasionally get onto the cable outlets of Comcast and Xfinity in certain regions. It's one thing to do that. And that's huge. But it's another when you get the attention, of outlets like Dish Network, DirecTV, on both their linear and streaming platforms. That's another thing, and that's a huge leap. That's a huge notable leap. That's a big deal in its own right. But then when you get on to Comcast Xfinity, which is basically the premier cable outlet in the world, well, if not in the nation, once you get on that, you've pretty much made it. Because Comcast owns Universal, right? So once you partnered with them, with Xfinity, Comcast, you're pretty much made. Yeah, it's going to be cool. You get onto AT&T's outlet. It's going to be cool. You get on Verizon Physio's outlet and all that. It's going to happen with those, cable providers. But once you make it with Xfinity, Comcast, you have pretty much solidified yourself as a channel that needs to be acknowledged. You've solidified yourself as a channel that needs to be talked about. And also you solidified yourself as a channel that people that know that when they learn about what you're about will be willing more so than ever will be willing to make deals with you to bring shows to you. And just imagine what that means. Imagine what that means. It means you could see, so you have Silverhawks on there. You can get its brother show, the show that came out before it. You could get Thundercats. Imagine that. Not just the OG Thundercats. You could get the 2000s revival of Thundercats. That's huge. Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. That's huge. Transformers G1. G.I. Joe Real American Hero G1. The Hasbro, Sunbow, and Geek Entertainment versions. GEM, J-E-M, and the holograms. Yeah. Mask. And we're not talking the mask they already have. We're talking the original 80s cartoon based on the Kenner toy. Mask. That could be on the horizon. He-Man and She-Ra, which is seen on Peacock as well as YouTube, that could be on the horizon. You get what I'm saying, folks? The door is now pretty much opened. It is pretty much opened. And I'm looking at a variety of shows here that are on there already, but more could be coming. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Excuse me. But I'm looking at a vast collection of what I have. And even down there, I'm looking at Wildcats. That could show up. I'm looking at SWAT Cats. I'm looking at Wild West Cowboys of Moon Mesa. I'm looking at even one-time specials that they created, like Barbie and the Rockers, Beverly Hills Teens, Maxie's World. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I mean, this move is basically what MeTV Toons and regular broadcasting needed. This move here basically, like I said, solidified them as a network that needs to be taken seriously, needs to be acknowledged, and is showcasing why Xfinity, outlets like Xfinity, outlets like DirecTV, Dish Network, and down the line AT&T and all of them is picking them up. Because they see the value. They see the value in them, and they see that people want to watch them. They see the nostalgicness of the animation that's being used. They see an outlet for other shows, and during the Christmas season, other specials to be showcased in that won't be seen anywhere else. They're getting that opportunity here. They're getting it here. Now, I know some people would say that basically they've heard stories of MeTVToons disappearing after a while. That's not the case. When you're on Xfinity Comcast, you're on it for a good long time until they basically feel contractually you're not needed anymore, and who knows how long the contract is. When you're on, because to me, when you're on an outlet like Xfinity Comcast, you're on there for a long time. You are on there for a long time. And I guarantee you, word is going to get around. Word is going to get out there, that they are now on Xfinity, and people are going to be watching, not religiously, but be watching when they get the opportunity, especially with their shows. I mean, come on. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a big one for them, right? How many people have been wanting Ninja Turtles back on television? The OG. A lot. And now they got it. Now they got it. And again, the list of shows, animated shows, that they're going to be bringing in from the past 40, 50, 60 years is unlimited. It is unlimited. And again, I have a lot of them. Some of them I got thanks to Frank Hill. It's Frank, and I thank him for that. But my goodness, like I said, Gem and the Holograms, JEM, Transformers G1, G.I. Joe Real American Hero, Mask, He-Man and She-Ra, Thundercat. All Dogs Go to Heaven, the series. That's going to be an easy layup right there because, hey, you're now part of the Xfinity Comcast. Here, take All Dogs Go to Heaven. Although that's an MGM show, I'm sure they're going to want to bring it in. They're going to want to bring it in. But, I'm just saying that, it's just going to be unbelievable when you start seeing a lot of those shows start to show up. Probably a lot more quicker than you expected, because this is probably what they've been waiting for, to make that happen. This is the moment. And, Sonic the Hedgehog has his Christmas Blast special come on, right? It only came on once this year, so far. But you can always rewatch it on YouTube. But it came on once this year. I DVR'd it last year, because I wanted to. Here's the thing. I DVR'd it on FrdnleyTV, that is. But here's the thing. Sonic Christmas Blast obviously got watched by a lot of people. We just don't know the numbers yet. On both occasions. On both years. Do you think they put that there for a reason? Yes, they do. Because like I said before, when they did it last year, they did it because they're testing the waters. And I guarantee you, they're going to contact WildBrain. They're going to contact WildBrain, formerly Deke Entertainment and all them, and they're going to say, We want to license and distribute Adventures. We want to license and distribute Satayam. We want to license and distribute Sonic Underground as part of our network. And I guarantee you it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It may not happen right away, but 2027 or 2026, I should say, keep an eye out. Because I would not put it past them to want to make that deal happen so that way they can help promote Sonic 4 in 2027. So to me, Sonic probably is MeTVToons bound next year. It's just a matter of where and when it happens. But it's going to happen. Probably more so than ever before. More so than ever before. But yeah, this is just great, guys. This is just tremendous, and I can't say any more than that. But let me know what your thoughts are. How happy and excited are you that MeTVToons is now officially on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, cable outlet in the nation, if not the world, and that being Comcast Xfinity? Let me know how you feel about it. Comment down below if you haven't already in the live chat. Let me know how you feel. And what do you think will come out of it? What other shows do you think will now probably get the green light to go and be part of MeTVToons probably a lot quicker than in the past? Let me know. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until next time, do me a solid favor, like I said at the beginning, that's like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Also, click on the links in the description to find my content also outside of YouTube and to support me outside of YouTube as well. But guys, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. This is a great day. And until then, I'm going to sit back and see what MeTVToons has to offer now under my local time. Because that's the other thing, too. With it being part of Xfinity, it's going to go by your local time. No more, basically watching it at a time that's a little weird for you because they're going by Eastern time zone on the streaming stuff. Now you can watch it at your time. But again, like I said, before I close, I do recommend keeping FrdnleyTV and Philo just for the time being, because until you can work something out with the DVR situation, where you live, it's best to keep those as an alternative, as a backup. But guys, that's all I'm going to say. Let me know, and until then, let me know how you feel, I should say, about all this. What are you looking forward to the most? And until then, I am out.